Good evening. You are watching TDM Talk Show. I'm Karen Keith. According to the latest government data, Macau's total employment from July to September was 387,100, about 25% of which were from the gaming industry. Macau, which holds the title as the world's largest gaming hub, sure is home to a majority of gaming workers, but are their rights well protected? Two representatives from the Uni Global Union based in Switzerland are in Macau to hold a two-day meeting with some gaming workers' representatives. Let's welcome Uni APRO Regional Secretary Christopher and Head of Uni Gaming and Temporary and Agency Workers, Giedre Lelyte. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Welcome to Macau and welcome to TDM Talk Show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So this is really fun because I met Giedre back in 2015 at the Sofitel when you were holding an activity also here in Macau. So it's nice to see you again.
Same here, same here.
So let's jump to the first question by giving focus on the Uni Global Union. What is it exactly for our viewers to understand what you guys actually do for the gaming workers?
Yes, thanks again for welcoming me in Macau, and actually it's really a pleasure to come back as always. And this time we are coming here as Uni Global Gaming to hold our global meeting, and we have those global meetings once in 2 years for the sector. And to present Uni Global Union, we are a trade union federation representing workers in all 4 regions, and we have over 20 million workers.
Wow.
And we represent private sector employees. And private sector, to name a few, would be finance workers, retail, private security and cleaning, graphical. We also represent media entertainment workers. We represent world athletes. And we also represent casino workers through Uni Gaming.
Which is this Uni Gaming?
Yes, Uni Gaming is a sector of Uni Global Union.
So when was it founded and what was the goal? What was the vision of Uni Global?
Uni Global actually came in 2000 as a merger organization of 4 other global unions, and they all came together as a power to represent workers in private services. And it was a merger of private clerical workers, telecommunications and post, media and entertainment, and graphical. So all those 4 global unions came together in 2000 and established Uni Global Union. But the history dates back by far more. And I think Brother Christopher, representing the region here, could also tell you some history. And Uni Gaming, as such, already existed before 2000.
Before 2000.
Yes, it was a part of one of the merging partners. And it was established well before, like in early 1990s, when gaming workers, especially casino workers, decided that actually their rights have to be presented globally.
And I understand we have a different, you are present in other regions because Christopher is the head of the Asia Pacific.
The Asia Pacific.
Is it right? Yeah. So kindly introduce yourself to our viewers.
Yeah, as Giedre just mentioned, UNI is a new and old organization. We are new because we were founded in the year 2000. We are old because the 4 organizations that came together to form this organization have more than 500 years of history. And in the Asian Pacific region, we have been in Singapore since 1973.
Wow.
And since then, we have been focusing our effort to try to grow trade union as such. We believe that the trade union do have a role to play as a partner to industry, to government, not only to protect the interests of the workers, but more to contribute to the development of the industry so that it can be beneficial to society by creating more decent jobs. So the gaming sector is obviously a very important sector. I mean, today, it is mushrooming everywhere, and I sense that there is a kind of a competition between countries, each trying to carve a market out of itself. And therefore, in the light of this competitive environment, I think we have to expect that there will be more challenges, not only posed to the people working in the casino, but I think to the operator of the different casinos. So we hope that that we can help help them in overcoming these challenges. So the meeting this time in Macau is important because we bring together, the representative for unions all over the world with the hope that through the exchange of information and by sharing it with our friend in Macau, we can help them to be a better representative of not only the casino employees, but also by gaining the experience of other unions to contribute to make the casino sector in Macau a better sector, more competitive, at the same time providing better job and also a future for all the gaming employees.
But when you say gaming, does it include or does it cover esports, lotteries? Does it cover sports betting?
Yes, absolutely. Under Unigaming, casinos, obviously, and casino workers are our key target group. But nevertheless, we also represent betting shop workers, we represent hosts and dog race track workers, we represent workers in e-gaming, in bingos, which is quite a popular entertainment in Latin America and in some Spanish-speaking countries. We represent also people who are behind the electronic roulette.
That's right.
And normally you don't see them, but they also nevertheless have really lots of problems, maybe even more than live gaming employees. So we represent really a wide range from land-based casinos to e-betting and esports betting. And we hold the dialogue also with the respective employers.
And it says there that the key is that gaming industry is well regulated, transparent, and fair. Can you further explain to us in layman's term, like, can you explain like what is this all about?
This is actually what Unigaming has been trying to promote for quite some years. And when I open any meeting and when we talk both with the employees and with the employers and obviously with the government and regulators, we say that we welcome expansion in other countries, we welcome the development because we understand that gaming industry, the same as any other industry, brings in welfare, brings in workplaces, but we want that industry to be well regulated, meaning that there should be laws, there should be proper laws, and we would support and stand with the companies only who play according to the market rules and also who play according to the legislation. No abuse, no allowing minors to participate in gambling, setting limits, setting regulation, fighting and actually preventing and participating in programs for addiction. So that's what actually well-regulated and transparent covers. Also, no money laundering, no illegal operations. We fight with all means and we side with employers to fight illegal operations, and we did it in quite a few countries. And together with some employers, let's say like in Mexico, we went together with employers as unions, we went to the government and promoted certain legislation to be approved, because we think that only well-regulated market can be also a fair market. And by fair, we say that fair is mostly related actually to workers, that everyone should have fair wages. And if, let's say, a company in Las Vegas opens in Macau, that workers cannot be underpaid.
For example, Win and MGM.
Exactly. And we had quite a few meetings with Las Vegas global players, and we always stress the importance of fair play, of respecting the market rules, and also respecting workers' rights. That's number one for us. And obviously, we always stress that we have contacts. We are a global community. We are a global trade union community, and we can be some kind of a watchdog, and we try to follow that all the workers' rights are properly secured and protected. Yes, and for us it's number one.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This question goes for both of you. Uni is one of the founders of the Bangladesh Accords on Fire and Safety. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
That's right. And it was back in 2013. That's right.
So after Rana Plaza events, we were a driving force into establishing it with another sister union in industry.
And it made a really big impact. Like for taking care of the employees, exactly. So you are in Macau. You've been in Macau a couple of times, and Macau is pretty new to Uni Global union, what are we expecting?
I think basically, we are new. At the same time, we are also very keen in trying to contribute, to the betterment of the industry in terms of how it operates, and also in terms of the impact on the employees itself. So our discussion here is aimed at preparing the employees, the union in particular, so that they can be a constructive partners. We hope that through working with them, because they are new, we can develop a model, so-called casino sector, which other can be inspired and follow. Because I think many countries are now looking at Macau as the hub, and to
it's
see
the world's largest
and to see
hub.
what they can learn and benefit from it. And this is why we think strategically it is very important for everybody to pay close attention to what is happening here. And when you were talking about the regulation, I think this is one of the factors is that the impact on society, because gambling by itself has a bad connotation.
That's
People
right.
are worried, that how can you be encouraging gambling? So they have to find ways and means to regulate it so that the impact are minimized. I think today there is a recognition that gambling is happening everywhere, legal or illegal. So it's better to have it regulated.
With the birth of the, let's say, integrated resorts.
Exactly. Yeah. So this
It's
is why
not called casinos, like casinos per se anymore. It's the
that's it. Yeah.
integrated resorts.
That's why the discussion, for example, in Japan to legalize the casino took 20 years, because this is how long it takes to convince people that we can't avoid it, and if we want to have it, we will have rules that have been established and practiced, and it will help us to minimize the impact. I think this is what we as a global union try to do. We are not here just to organize them into trade union. We also want to make sure that if it exists, it must serve the purpose, not only to the people who invest, but also society. And therefore, we are not propagating gambling as a way of life, but if it is there, then I think we have to make sure that it is not harmful in that sense.
And you will hold a meeting starting tomorrow until November 1st. Could you tell us more what the meetings will be all about? What's the main focus of the meetings? I believe there would be a lot of guests from the Philippines, from France, from Chile.
Yeah.
What are we expecting for tomorrow, starting tomorrow?
Yes, we start tomorrow, and to be precise, we'll have close to 80 participants representing more than 20 countries, and it ranges from Las Vegas to France, from South Africa to Malaysia, and obviously local people from Macau. And the program actually was discussed quite a bit in advance, and we wanted to integrate all the major concerns, both from our own affiliates outside of Macau, and also we wanted to tackle some of the questions, some of the topics which were kind of burning for Macau colleagues.
That's right.
And the aim is not only from us to learn from them, because they are actually employed in the hub, in the biggest gambling player, but also to share experiences. And on the agenda we have some topics dealing with health and safety, and the key is smoking ban in casinos.
Smoking bans.
And I think that that's also very important for Macau, because it has been for quite a few years actually coming on and off. If we check Macau media,
it's always
social
about
media, it's always a big question. And also we all know that sometimes casino employers say that, if we introduce smoking ban, then our gambling population is going to drop. We are not going to have as many gamblers because gambling comes close to smoking.
That's right.
But we have quite a few speakers on the panel who, based on the government data and employers' data, it's not just trade union research, it's not just workers' research. Actually, those researches were made together with employers and the government in some countries. We got some data proving that actually numbers increased even in some countries. And we have data from Europe, we have data from Latin America, that smoking ban has nothing to do with the drop in business.
with the number of
Within
players.
Number
who
of
want to visit
players
the
is
property.
increasing even. And we have, let's say, example of Finland, and they have more than 10 years already the smoking ban, and we could see that actually gamblers' numbers are not decreasing. Then also we are going to look into the digital world, because we are quite influenced by the new e-economy.
The new norm of not broadcasting anymore. It's more on the internet.
Yes.
Digitization.
Yes, digitalization. We are going to look into digitalization and impact on workers, and also how workers have to be upskilled. And also qualification, requalification, upskilling is going to be something where we will tackle on day 2. And we have also quite a few interesting presentations, quite a few cases, and we'll have examples from Latin America, let's say, how unions run courses, online courses, where croupiers can join and upgrade their skills in their profession. And that's also open to everyone, and it's run by the union.
That's right. Okay, so you have, I believe you have close coordination with Chloe Chow, who is the head of the new Macau Gaming Association, Gaming Rights Association.
Yep.
So early August, they sent a wish list to the Macau Chief Executive-elect Hoyat Seng. The document shows that the result of a survey conducted on the same month, and it was answered by more than 7,000 respondents. The three topics were: A, gaming staff should be able to enjoy the same holiday rights as civil servants. B, gaming companies should exercise a 5 working days per week program for workers. And the last one is what we've discussed, the importance of a rigorous smoking control policy for safeguarding workers' health. So let's focus on each key points, namely, the first one is to enjoy the same holiday rights as civil servants. What's your perspective? What's your opinion about this? For that they should be able to enjoy the same holiday rights as civil servants.
I think, this is very natural for every working person to aspire to have a better and balanced life. Obviously, there has to be trade-off. If there's a demand of this nature, then the union will have to negotiate with the employers and strike a balance as to how this can be achieved. But obviously, I think they should express as they have rightly done so. So on the second point about, I think it's equally the same, and the question is, how can they make sure that at the end of the day, their demand will be sustainable in terms of how the industry want to react? Ideally, we agree that this should be a perfect solution, a balanced way of life. How we are going to achieve it is something that has to be negotiated. And I think if you look at it from a historical point of view, if you step into a casino today, we are seeing more and more machines replacing
humans,
people.
like
Yes.
manpower.
I think this is a trend that has to be observed, and ultimately, if I think it become the norm actually. If you walk into a casino today, only high stake area, the other area are now increasingly being replaced by machines. So in that sense, then if we see the people that are continuing to work to serve the customer, for example, then they would be considered like a more elite group of people. Correspondingly, I think their term of employment would be significantly different. So the question we have to ask is, how will it affect the employment of casino employees? This is the question that has to be addressed in totality. And that is the trade-off that I try to hint, at the end of the day, if it comes about, then the operator will push for more machine increasingly. And if I...
Which is more cost efficient.
I hate to use the word, but at the end of the day, this is the practical aspect of the outcome. But obviously, some people are still saying, it's better to have human interaction. The joy is in doing it that way. But then it depends. Only those high-stake players can have the so-called privilege of human interaction.
The VIPs.
Yeah. I mean, this is the reality of life that we are facing. So the question we have to ask is, how far can we go to trade off? And that is the question that is being asked not only in the casino sector, but in the general question about the fourth industrial revolution. How far are we prepared to accept increasingly being serviced by machine rather than human being? And if we accept, then what is the trade-off? Are we prepared to be just served by machine and therefore lose the human touch and the joy of interacting with human being? These are questions, I think, which will be discussed everywhere, not only in the gaming industry.
Pretty interesting.
Yes, and we also have some experiences, some will be presented on day 2 related to that, because as Brother Christopher mentioned, obviously there will be a trade-off, and we always support collective bargaining and negotiations. It can't be only one-way street, that employer said that and everyone agreed, or that workers demanded and everything is on the plate. It's too ideal, and it never happens. Therefore, we also are gonna hear some experiences from other countries, how it is discussed, how it's negotiated in the collective bargaining, and how both parties, both employers and employees, agree on certain trade-offs, and how the best for the company and for the society can be reached through those agreements. And obviously, as trade unions, we would always support the basic ILO conventions implemented, that everyone has the right to holidays, everyone has the right to certain pay, that there should be paid leave, obviously, and but we understand
13-month and 14-month pay.
But we understand, of course, the nature of business, that most people come on Saturday, Sunday, most people come on public holidays, and therefore some negotiation should be done to compensate for the time lost apart from families, or for overtime and night work. And that's also a topic we worked quite close with some of our affiliates in other countries, in Latin America and in Europe. But that already has a history, and I think that history could be passed over and experiences shared, because there's no need to invent the wheel.
And for the meetings, is it open to the public, or is it a kind of like a closed-door meeting for gaming workers' representatives?
We usually have our meetings for our members. But reports and presentations are usually accessible on the web, and they are all public.
The website.
Yeah.
Yes. So from our website, anyone can reach the reports, and also we have country reports. So if someone is interested about, let's say, hearing about gaming in Malaysia or in Sweden or in France, they can always go onto globalunion.org and then find the reports.
One question that I've been wanting to ask, it's kind of connected to Christopher's answer. So Inside Asian Gaming, I'm going to quote them, wrote a column which I find very interesting, and thanks to a colleague of mine. So it says, casino dealers spend years performing the same repetitive tasks, which leave them frustrated and lacking motivation. The problem it says is not the casino, but the job itself. We all know that dealers are well paid and definitely provides a level of comfort for them. What could be their potential options in the future? That's the first. And second, do you think companies should equip dealers or their talents with a wider set of workplace skills for their future?
You know, this reminds me of a research that was done some 25 years ago when India opened the door to receive, you know, the what they call the sector, the call center sectors.
BPO.
BPO is, and I still recall, you know, that we were very deep in the discussion about the impact, and I think some of the employers, progressive employers, a bank in particular, actually did a survey, and the HR manager reported in one of our meetings that she is very concerned, because the nature of the job is such that it requires young people and also with certain qualification. But the problem is that it is a short-term job, not more than 5 years, and the level of progression is limited by what they can do. And she speculated that based on their statistic, 1 million, for example, young Indian will be involved in this job, but 5 years later, they will find themselves displaced. And in the case of those BPO, it's worse than the dealers here, because there they have to orientate themselves. If they are dealing with the American market, they have to actually behave like American, and their life is upside down. And I think you can see now, 25 years later, they have shifted from India now to Philippines.
That's right.
And so I can relate to this. And the suggestion then by the HR manager was, in order to prepare them so that they do not become wasted human beings 5 years later, we have to prepare them for alternative, so that as they progress in their job, they can slowly slide over, so that there is continuity. So in that sense, the report is correct. The employers, and not only the employers, I think the government has a responsibility to make sure that these people will have a transition, a just transition.
That makes sense.
And here we are not talking about career, you are talking about a group of people displaced, young people displaced. Can you imagine how dangerous it is if you have a few 100,000, dealers running around finding that they cannot get a job?
Yes.
It would be a threat to security and other issues. And it was the same discussion in India. And I think we have to see it from that perspective, not as someone, making demands about their future. It's a responsibility of the government. And I think the employers must also take some responsibility. After all, they are benefiting from the services provided by these people, and they're making huge profit out of it. And I think all it costs is not a lot of money. We're not talking about 50-60% of their profit. A small percentage put aside so that they could have the chance to learn. And here I want to share with you an example of, like, in Singapore, we go through the same thing now, and there is already a recognition there. So there's a provision now for people to be trained wherever they like, so that alternative is available to every individual. I think here in Macau, I think they should be one step ahead.
Macau should follow.
They should be one step ahead. Not when it happened, then it's too late, Put it in place. And this is where I read today, for example, about how the casino are now contributing to the pension fund and others. This is a good idea, and I think the same should be thought about it as to how they can provide. And I think this would be a wonderful examples, that will inspire other areas.
And thank you for that. And it's really sad for me to say that our time's running out, but I wish you guys good luck, and I hope to see you again.
Okay.
I wish to see you be back here at the TDM Talk Show after a couple of months, or maybe next year again with Giedre. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Join us again next week for another episode of TDM Talk Show. I'm Karen Keith. Good evening.